Dwayne Ledford's press conference. We ask that each of you mute your devices and ask me questions. When you wish to ask a question, please unmute your phone, identify yourself, ask the question, and then return your phone to mute. So go ahead and start with your questions for Coach Ledford.
Yago from WLKY. Could you just talk about some of the challenges of this coronavirus world? We've seen other teams having a bunch of positive tests. Are these difficult waters to navigate? How has it been for you guys so far, and what do you see as some of the challenges ahead?
Oh, it's very difficult for sure. My hat's off to Matt Summers and the plan that he's put together, along with Coach Siriano, and just the way we're doing everything. We're bringing in guys in small segments and, kind of going through this process of keeping guys separated for a number of days before they can be integrated. And, everything that we're doing is completely new, just from the way that we're interacting with each other. Like when we're going into a staff meeting or around the office, we're all wearing our masks. And so just everything's different. Meeting with our players, although they're still here on campus right now, it still has to be done virtually. And so, you got your kids up here. You want to be around them. You want to be around them. You want to watch, just to have the interaction. It's a big part of it. And, those are things that we can't do right now. And so it's completely different, but we're trying to make sure that we do everything we can so we can continue to take those steps to go forward.
Coach, this is John Lewis at WDRB. I know it's not a huge change, but just moving up the date, the start date, the kickoff date. I know obviously there's so much going on in town, hopefully that weekend, but does that change anything with you guys? And what do you think about just moving that up a day?
No, it's not. I don't think it's that big of a deal. Moving it up a day, completely understand with everything going on with being able to witness and the Derby week last year when we first got here and just everything surrounding it. Definitely understand why they're doing it. And so, but as far as like preparation or planning, that one day it's not going to be a big deal at all.
Hey, Dwayne Cameron from the Courier Journal. We've obviously talked a lot about, obviously, you got to replace Makai and you got to replace Tyler. But you bring back three interior guys that would have a lot of experience, not only together, but just also in-game experience. Just how have Caleb, Cole, and Robbie been, and how important do you feel like they'll be to the success you guys have this year?
I think it's huge. You hear people talk about all the time, if you're going to be good through the middle and build it out. And, talking about, being good at just the middle of your offense and defense. And so you got guys that have a lot of game reps with one another. And I think that's a big thing. And last year, Adonis was like our sixth guy. And so he played multiple positions throughout the season. So he got a lot of meaningful snaps, and not just the games that he stepped in for Makai. And so those game reps, it's hard to duplicate in practice. He's gotten those underneath his belt. So, when we look at it, we got four guys back that has a lot of experience. And, but it's something that, we're excited about some of the new guys that we got in here. We're excited about some of these guys that's been in the program now for a year. And going into it, we knew this was probably going to be the case. We had a good feeling that, obviously both tackles were going to be gone after this year. Haycraft being a senior and Makai having an opportunity to be one of the top tackles taken in the draft. And so the guys, they know that right now, but the spring practice that we did have, I thought those young guys were really stepping up. I thought we were having some great practices and saw a lot of development along that starting five that we were playing during the spring.
Coach Fred Gallagher again from WLKY. You're being 10 weeks away from the opener, now having that official date. Does it give you some sense of traction that there's really going to be a game, there's really going to be a season, and suddenly there's a deadline out there and literally 10 weeks to get ready for this whole thing?
Yeah, you know, it's exciting. Like driving back in, you know, we got back in the office last week. And so we've been back for a week now. Just being back last week was really exciting. It's just being back in that routine, although it's different. Just being back though, seeing the players, you know, just seeing them in the weight room and from a distance, obviously, but just being back around everybody, it has that sense of, all right, we're heading in the right direction, and everybody being back. And so it's exciting, you know, for us right now, kind of planning out what the rest of the summer is going to look like. And as when we start these walkthroughs and practices and everything like that. And it's exciting. And like I said before, you know, we're just trying to do our part just so that we kind of keep everything moving forward. And our players, I think they understand that as well. You know, you kind of get to this phase and you kind of, sometimes you might forget about because you're with everybody, but they're doing a good part of sort of keeping their social distance and doing the things that are recommended out there so we can continue to press forward.
Dwayne, hey, it's Jody Demling with Cardinal Authority. How big was it for you, especially for your group, to get that 8 or 9 spring practices, whatever you guys, you know, I mean, most people didn't get any. How big was that for your group to be able to have that experience?
I think it's huge. You know, and I think, you know, even with us having that number, we still want more. We still wanted more. And that's just natural because, I mean, it takes reps. Anytime when you're going to go through anything, you think about when our first spring when we got here, the reps and how that the more reps you get at something, the better you're going to be at it. And so to me, I think that those practices that we did get underneath our belts, we saw a lot of good things. Saw a lot of young guys kind of stepping up and kind of getting a good feel and a good sense for this is what this might look like. And, you know, then obviously all that came to an end and we went our separate ways for a really long time. But, we were excited with what we were seeing thus far in spring ball, that what we had.
Dwayne, Rick Bozich at WDRB. The offense made a big step forward last year. As you look into the new season, what are the 1 or 2 areas of improvement you're hoping for?
You know, I think that you always want to keep developing depth, you know, where you can play more and more guys. You know, the exciting thing for us that we had is, you know, you had a late bowl game. You had a lot of momentum after that bowl, and the way the guys came in and they worked right after that, and the retention that they had going into spring ball. And so, like during spring, like right now, like what we were last year at spring compared to where we were this year, 2 completely different teams. The retention is a lot better. The guys know what it is that we're asking, or they understand the schemes that we're running. And so you can just be a little bit more dialed into that and just build to expand on that a little bit now. Be with, you know, some new formations or some new motions, but kind of like, so you're going into the season and guys, so like when we go to fall camp, we will not be moving like last year. Like we kind of felt like we were really taking things slow. This year it'll be a lot different because the guys where the retention is, and it'll be a lot faster and going faster with it. But, you know, I think just keep the continuing understanding of what it is that we're wanting those guys to do at every position. You know, I think that from a foundation of what we're wanting, guys playing with great effort, playing with a great attitude, leaving it all out on the field, I think that they understand how we want them to play. You know, it's just kind of learning just all the intricacies of everything that we're asking them to do now.
Dwayne, hey, it's Jody again. You have last year you had a grad transfer, and I remember you talking about just having that experience that he brought, having a guy that started 30-something games coming in and maybe help out. I don't even know if he's on campus yet with DeGeorge, but when he does get here and when you guys get him, how big will that be to have that experience to help some of the younger guys?
I think it's huge. It's hard to replace that type of experience that you get from playing in games. I say it all the time before. We'll go out and try to have X amount of scrimmages leading up to a season to try to replicate the speed and what the games are like. But there's nothing that takes the place of a game. And so with Cam and coming in with all the starts that he has underneath his belt, I think that's huge. He'll be somebody that obviously has a lot of experience that he's going to be able to come in. Now, he is here now, and so right now for those guys, it's the challenge for guys that come in for as a transfer is developing those relationships with one another. He's just now getting here. So it's kind of like you're a transfer, you're coming in. It's like being a freshman again. Where do you go and do this? Where do you go and do that? Who are you going to hang out with? And we got a great group of guys here. And so they're all welcoming and I think it's going really well, but he definitely brings a lot of experience that I think is beneficial with those game reps that he's had underneath his belt for those young guys.
And then a follow-up. As far as Cole is concerned, he wasn't necessarily a center when he got to Louisville, but he's kind of worked himself into that role. What does he do well at that position? And then also, what about a backup? Because I know you like to have two guys ready. Is that a pretty good competition for backup as far as Cole's concerned?
Yeah, I think so. We asked the center. That's a position that we put a lot on. And that guy has to be he has to be in knowing everything that we're asking him to do as far as just the knowledge of the scheme and to be able to apply it and to be able to demonstrate it to others, be it making the calls or whatever he has to do out there. But that position requires you to be very athletic as well. And Cole was very similar to Garrett that I coached before, that he was a tight end before. And so he's very athletic. And so coming here, we kind of knew that Cole, what type of athlete he was, is just learning the position, just getting more and more comfortable with it. And I think Cole was having a very good spring. I love the way Cole finished the season last year. And I think that he's ready to have a really big season. I think so. And, he's putting a lot of great work in. And, and behind that right now, for us, you can't have enough guys that can snap the football and play at the same time. And so right now we're going to have some guys, playing for that backup position right now. And that'll be with a lot of the young guys that we got here. Some guys that are just now getting on campus. But that's going to be one of those positions throughout camp that we got to kind of find out who that backup's going to be.
Hey, Coach, Michael McCammon from Cardinal Authority here. Did you learn anything new from your offensive line group while they were at home, kind of forced to do things on their own, self-motivate and that kind of thing? Did you learn anything new from your guys during that stretch? Probably
nothing new other than some of the clothing articles that they probably like to wear to go to bed. They would keep those on through some of our virtual meetings that we would have. But it's, I saw that Cole was talking about going four-wheeling and, so it's kind of interesting to kind of see. Then you saw like some of the guys' setups that they had for their weight room that they had in their garage or whatever for the 9 weeks that they were away. And so, but it was good. The thing that I always got from it was, although we were doing this like we're doing now with this virtual visit, this meeting that we're having, the players, I could sense like they were so happy to you can kind of see a different person when we all got on here together and started talking. Once we were about to conclude the conversation, you could see how, just they were telling each other, miss you guys, love y'all. And just so you could see that they were really wanting to get back together. And so because you were taken away from that, and I don't know how many weeks it was, 9, 10, 11 weeks, whatever it was. And so that was a long time away from each other. And so, and a lot of times, what I want those guys to be is it's like a family. And so anytime when you're away from a family member, it's tough and it's hard on you. And I think that those guys truly felt that way being away from each other. And so that was a good positive to see, just have what I kind of sense – in looking at the expressions that I saw on the screen when we got together.
Hey, Dwayne, Cameron again from the Courier Journal. Kind of going back to the three returning interior guys. What did you see from them during spring practice, whether it be on the field or just leadership? Just kind of how much growth did you see from them? And then obviously they have a lot of experience. You mentioned Cole's athleticism, but Caleb and Robbie also pretty athletic as well. As they learn the playbook more, how much can their athleticism can you build off that to add more to what you want to do?
Yeah, well, the more we can we tell our guys all the time, we don't want you to be robots. We don't want to give you so much information or to run a scheme in which you're always having to think about what am I doing here? We want it to be so natural that we want to use your athletic ability and let that be a showcase of what we are on offense. And for us up front, you got to be extremely athletic to do what we do offensively. And so to me, I think all those guys, they possess that. And with the more that you know it inside and out, the more comfortable you are with it. It's muscle memory. The more you do something over and over. And that's what you're looking for with the guys, is to have that more comfort that they have. All right, we know what to expect here with this 3 technique, or with this 2-eye when he goes inside now. And so with those 3, there's a lot of games that they play together. They know each other's voice. They know how they're going to play versus certain blocks. They know that this person is going to be there for me, all right, if I need his help. And so I think there's just a trust there. There's accountability amongst that group. And one of the big things that I really observed is I just think the guys have that right demeanor about them. Just the way they went out and worked at practice, the way they pushed themselves, all the things that we tried to get going when we first got here as a staff. These guys know that now. They know the expectations. And so when you got those guys coupled with a lot of starts and with a lot of snaps underneath their belts, it's fun to go out in there and see that, because they're playing very cohesive as a unit now. And so to me, it was very, very good to see. And even with Adonis Boone, who, although he played both guards throughout the season, being that 6th guy for us, and also filling in for Makai when he missed a couple of games this year. And so you just kind of see like they understand the scheme so much better. Their fundamentals are getting better and better. And so it's fun to be around and fun to witness.
Dwayne, hey, it's Jody again. In this virtual world that we now live in, are you a little surprised, not just you guys, but just the amount of recruiting that has been successful? I mean, there's just so many guys all over the country that have committed. Are you a little surprised by that right now?
I am. But I don't know. I think that's really hard to answer, Jody. But it's just usually the summertime's a big time for us. Period. Just because you're having kids come up, they're coming up, they're seeing it. But we've worked so hard at trying to make sure, because what we want to do is be able to provide as much information as we can virtually, because kids were going to still make their decisions. Because that's the thing about it. You got an X amount of spots, and once those start to fill up, you can't create more spots. And so what we try to do is really try to, but I think the strength of us as a staff is just how we are as people and our interactions that we have with our players, but also amongst each other as a staff. You truly get when you come up here, and I think that people really come away with, man, that staff, that's a close-knit, that's a true family up there. So that aspect of it, you're not able to showcase that now. But we try to do our best to do everything to show what Louisville has to offer us as a program, as a university, as a city, and just spend a lot of time on these virtual visits like this, trying to work those relationships, because it's all about relationships, and relationships, it takes time, and it's something that you got to work at. And so very happy with the way it's been going, that's for sure. And just this is how it is now. It's a virtual world almost, and so my wife, I always say, like, my wife, she can shop off Amazon all day long. I still want to go to the store to see it, to feel it, to touch it, and everything like that. But there's more people like my wife who does everything online now, and so.
Hey, Dwayne, Rick Bozich again from WDRB. Last year, your offense was one of the most balanced in the ACC. Is that how you foresee it unfolding again this season?
Oh, absolutely. And I think that's something that you always want to try to be is be as balanced as you can. Make defenses have to guess what you're going to do. You don't want to you don't want to just pin yourself down where they have it figured out. Well, this is what they're going to be on first, second down. And to me, as long as we can continue to do that, we got some great kids on offense right now, some really skillful positions, very talented players. And so it's put them in situations where they can make plays. And to me, part of that is you have to be balanced, both in a run and in a pass.
Anything else for Coach? All right, Coach. Thanks for coming. Appreciate you being on.
Appreciate all you guys for having me. Hope you guys are staying safe out there.